That's masterful writing. It's a great writing. And what he does, he takes all those images we were talking about and all the things. He was a ditch-digging son of a gun, but at the end of the day, he knew how to have fun. And it's not, you know, it's not the times I was mad at him that I remember. It's the things we did together. Then there's a reason. You know, people go, yeah, it's not all the fights I had with my old man. It's like the good, you know what I mean? There's a deeper reason in every hook. And sometimes when we write songs, we might just write out pages of notes first. We might sit and talk for hours, and then if you sit and talk, then the song might come out in the last half hour of the session. It's like, there it is, because you've done your homework. It's like, why? There's always a bigger reason to write whatever hook you're writing.
You know, the verses are kind of more the detail, you know, and the chorus is usually the bigger concept. So if you were to stop somebody in a hallway or whatever, and you're talking about your brother, you know, if you had, sometimes I do this, if I just had like 2 or 3 sentences, what would I say about him? And that might be, you know, that material for your chorus. What are the 2 or 3 things that I really want to say? And then, you know, if you had another hour to spend with the person, what are the other things that you would say about him? And those kind of become the detail for, you know, the verses. Title, Paper Crane to stand out. There's different ways you can do that. For example, you can lengthen the number of syllables in that last line. So it's just rhythmically da-da-da-da-da-da, 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 da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. The longer line is going to have more emphasis naturally. And sometimes not setting up a hook by not rhyming is a way to kind of get a little more juice out of the hook, because you're looking at it kind of one way, and then the hook comes in on a different rhyme scheme. And so there's different ways you can kind of get more juice out of the lyrics as you go. And I don't know if there's anything you want to add to that.
Yeah, I'll add something to that for you. No one's the only one that hasn't read yet, right?
Okay.
Well, let's talk about that for a minute. This is important, especially if you don't play an instrument and you're working from a lyrical standpoint only. Okay, so you're just writing a lyric, and I do it all kind of different ways, but of later years I generally work from a lyric first and then try to write the music. It should have a natural kind of rhythm like that. There should be a contrast rhythmically between the verse and the chorus. So if that's your setup for the chorus, your verses might want to be sparse, separated. Here's a good example of an easy song that someone else asked about. How do you get new melodies? Well, part of melody writing is rhythm writing, really, because your melody is very important. You want it to be catchy and uncomplicated, but the rhythm plays such an important part in it that here's a song that you probably all know, I Will Always Love You. It was a huge hit for Dolly Parton. It was a huge hit for Whitney Houston. And the chorus is very long notes. I will always love you, right? And the verses are like, da 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 da, and short, sparse syllables. The ear loves contrast. We love contrast lyrically. The mind likes contrast, hot, cold. That's what makes motion is contrast. Same thing rhythmically. So keep that in mind when you're writing your words. And then when you get to your melody, it's even easier. You know, then you can say, oh, I've got a nice contrast. Let me spike that chorus. When it comes to the chorus, generally, you should go up, spike, try not to repeat as many intervals and note patterns that you've done in your verse.